really stylish.
Same with the ring.
Well, I said I'd bring you to a posh restaurant, didn't I?
Hello everyone, I have just arrived to Belfast. It's around 10 in the morning and I've got plenty of time before my first activity. Since the train station is so close to Belfast City Hall, I thought I would stop by the Christmas market and check out the inside of this historic building. Belfast is the capital of Northern Ireland, which has a total population of about 2 million people. The city itself is home to around 652,000 residents. The culture here is a lively mix of Irish and British influences. Some folks feel more connected to Irish traditions, while others identify more with British heritage. For me, I see a beauty in both, and everyone I've met here has been incredibly warm and friendly. Right now, I'm walking through the Christmas market on my way to Belfast City Hall. It's a stunning building. It opened back in 1906 and really shows how much the city grew after Queen Victoria declared Belfast a city in 1888. The inside looks really fancy with detailed ceiling decorations and what looks like marble on the walls. Because of the Christmas market outside, it's pretty busy, so I won't be able to show you much of the interior. But if you visit Belfast, there are tours you can book to learn more about the building. I might do that next time. On my way to the Titanic Quarter, I came across a very cool spot, the Big Fish, also known as the Salmon of Knowledge. It's a large 10-meter ceramic sculpture that sits by the River Lagan, built in 1999 by the local artist John Kindness. What's really interesting is that each tile on the fish depicts a different part of the city's history, from old legends to more recent events. Hi and welcome to Belfast. Today is the 15th of December. If my dad was alive, it would have been his 88th birthday. And from my job, they were really nice to give me some time off, because his birthday being on the 15th and just 10 days before Christmas makes it really hard for me, because this is actually the first year without him. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to keep myself busy on that day and do something meaningful. So the whole idea is to make a video which will be about... Hello. Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Can I give you a hug?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, how's your day going?
Good.
Yeah. Good day?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I feel a lot better after that.
Okay. As I was filming my intro, two really young guys passed. They were really, really sweet. You can see now what they're doing. He came up to me and he said, "How are you? Would you like to give me a hug?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" So he gave me a hug, and now I see that the moment they see some people walking, they stop them and they give them hugs. All I can say is, wow, that was a warm welcome. I definitely was not expecting it, but honestly, it kind of makes sense. I was just telling you that the artist who built this fish is named John Kindness, and then all of a sudden these two guys show up to spread some actual kindness. Anyway, that pretty much sets the vibe for my 3 days here. This video is mostly focused on the Titanic experience and the Titanic Hotel, but we are also going to check out some other cool spots like the Christmas market tonight, the hop on and off tour to the Peace Walls, and the stunning St. Anne Cathedral. It's a bit of a long video since I'm showing you so much, so I've put chapters in the description if you want to skip around.
Channel.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
What's it called?
It's Violet Flame.
Violet Flame.
But you have to type it like at Violet Flame 13 because otherwise there are several channels with that name. It's a small channel only. Do you know if I'm far away from the Titanic?
It's down there.
Yeah.
I think you turn left. It's about 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay. And what I can say is that the people of Ireland, no matter Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland, are really friendly and nice. Okay. So we are already at the Titanic Quarter. You can actually see the museum showing up there. It took me only about 10 minutes to walk from the central train station to the City Hall and the center of Belfast. But of course the Titanic Quarter is a bit further away, and it would not be a problem if I didn't have the bag. City center in that direction. So just to say that Belfast is 170 kilometers away from Dublin. It took me about 2 hours to get here by train, and the journey was really pleasant, and I would recommend this over taking the bus. The bus was actually closer to me because at the Dublin airport you can take a bus, but my colleagues recommended me to take the train. And some of the views were lovely because it was moving along the coast, but I didn't film it because it was pitch dark. I took the train at around 7:50, so it was pitch dark. Anyway, maybe on the way back I will show you, but yeah, the trip was pleasant, and now let's see what kind of adventures await us today.
Just across you can see the Titanic Museum. It was built in 2012 and it's one of the most iconic attractions in the city. I think its design is really unique. It looks like an iceberg, and that distinctive shape makes it stand out and grab your attention from far away. For some reason, it reminds me of the Sydney Opera House. It's not the same shape, but it has that wow factor and feels really special. I just need to go through the hotel to drop off my bag, then we'll go inside to check it out. Sorry about the shaky camera work here. I was actually juggling my luggage while trying to film. I almost cut this part out, but I really wanted you to see the front of the building and the reception with all the Christmas decorations. Also check out the logo. From far away it almost looks like Japanese writing, isn't it? This place is actually a massive historic landmark. It was the original Harland and Wolff headquarters where they built the Titanic back in 1912, and it was only turned into a hotel in 2017. This is really cool. So guys, I thought that they wouldn't have a room ready before 12 because that was written on the website, but they surprised me, so the room is ready. It's really small, but I don't mind it because I'll hardly spend time here. But still, it's small but really stylish. How can I describe this style? Hipster? Maybe hipster. I'm more a fan of classical decorated hotels, but this one is very interesting. So what do we have here? We have a can of Radler. I don't know what that is. Must be a soft drink. Here we have a really nice view of the Titanic Museum. You can see some ships. I suppose in the evening it's very beautiful. There is a television. There is a book that tells the story of Titanic and how they built the museum. I'll check it out later. What else do we have here? I worked in a 5-star hotel, that's why I'm checking out everything. Here we have 2 bathrobes, slippers. We have an ironing board, a safe, coffee and tea making facilities. I'm not that much of a coffee drinker. And this is the bathroom. There is a sink with some fluffy towels. And look at the details. This is the toilet paper with the logo of the hotel. The shower. Let's go into the shower to check it out. Body wash, shampoo and conditioner. So these are the cosmetics. I have booked the Titanic at 12:40, so I don't have much time to review the hotel and film the rest of the hotel, but I will do it a bit later or tomorrow before leaving the hotel. And look at the doll. It's really cool, this doll. So let's dive into the Titanic experience. The ticket costs around 30 euros and also includes a visit to the SS Nomadic, the tender ship for the Titanic. This isn't just a museum, it's an immersive experience. There are many interactive displays that take you back in time from the birth of the Titanic to its tragic end. You really feel like you're on the ship. The experience kicks off with a short cable car ride that tells the story of the builders who helped construct the Titanic.
You only had candles for light, and the constant hammering against the shell plates. You could hear it all over Belfast. Some of those boys ended up stoned.
And Titanic was the pride of Belfast.
You are taken on a journey beginning with the departure in April 1912. The experience showcases examples of first, second, and third class cabins, vividly highlighting the contrasts between the luxury enjoyed by the wealthy and the modest accommodations of the less privileged. You can even see authentic plates and cups that were used on the ship. Additionally, a breathtaking panoramic view of the Titanic unfolds before you, moving from the bottom to the top, providing an incredible sense of the ship's large size and grandeur. The journey ends with the tragic side of the story, the iceberg, and the aftermath. They share these deeply personal stories about the victims and the dreams they had, and with the moving music playing in the background, it's honestly so emotional. The whole thing is just so well done. It's like stepping into a 3D movie, but you are actually part of the story. It really brings the history to life in a way I did not expect.
There is a beautiful Christmas tree. And a gift shop, which I'm going to visit in a moment.
The gift shop is actually huge and has a ton of different souvenirs to choose from, but honestly, I didn't spot anything that quite called out to me this time. It's definitely worth a look though, especially if you are looking for a keepsake.
I have never been actually into Christmas, especially after I lost my mom. I kind of lost interest in Christmas. I only go to Christmas markets, but apart from this, I don't do decorations. I don't make presents. I mean, at one point we were making each other presents, but then my stepmother, my dad's last partner, said, let's not do these presents because it doesn't make sense. You know very well what you need. You can buy it for yourself, and everyone can do so. And instead of that, we can just have a nice dinner. So she marked the beginning of this tradition of no presents. And to be honest, at first I thought, okay, what kind of a Christmas it's going to be without presents? But now I realize that this was the best decision ever, because it's true. I mean, you know what you need exactly, and I particularly am quite fussy. And I also don't like clutter, so if I don't like something, I also don't like to having it laying around. And at the end, before my father died, maybe several years before that, Christmas was all about heartfelt moments, a nice dinner, and a quality time spent together. So that's why right now I really miss him, you know, because I associate December with him, with his birthday, with the way we celebrated in the last years. He couldn't celebrate much, but he was there. So I was usually preparing a dinner and just something small, something nice and small, something that we would eat in the same evening. Because I remember when my mom used to cook, she used to cook so much that we would have leftovers for a week ahead. So yeah, for me Christmas is about this kind of, I think it's priceless to spend time with your loved ones. This is the most priceless thing.
Now we're moving over to the SS Nomadic, also known as the Titanic's little sister. This ship basically acted as a shuttle ferrying passengers out to the Titanic and other massive liners that were just too big to reach the dock. But here is the most mind-blowing part. Believe it or not, back in the 80s, this very ship was actually used as a floating nightclub and a casino.
Hello, the pen is for staff only. Please, take a seat. We will serve you at the table. Prefer to stand? Okay. You can share my view. It is magnificent, no? To see the ornate lights, the floor tile, even the flowers and ribbons carved into the walls, sumptuous in every detail.
It's nearly 3:30, which is not very late, but the day is short, so it's starting to get a little bit. I think the sun will go down very soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the docks a little bit and go back to the hotel to rest, and I'll go out to check out the markets. Maybe around 6 or 7, we'll see. What I was going to say, yeah. So according to me, the Museum of Titanic is really interesting to see, but you have to be a fan, and a lot of people are fascinated with the story of Titanic, and the museum was full even though it's Monday. Okay guys, so this is the Titanic Museum at night. I went back into my room and had a nap. I was even going to give up going to the city center, but I thought no, I have to do it. I'll try to find a bus to the city center because it's quite a walk. But look at SS Nomadic. It also looks great. It's a different look. I'm back to the City Hall and I'm going to get something sweet, maybe a crepe. It looks beautiful. I love it.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. La 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 la.
So, what did I think of the Christmas market? Honestly, it's really cute and charming, but it felt a little small, especially after seeing the one in Sofia, Bulgaria last year. But I have to say, the best part is that even though it's tiny, the food selection is incredible. They have stuff from all over the world: Asian, Spanish, Mexican, Irish, you name it. There is paella, sausages, and so many sweets like fudge, churros, and marshmallow skewers. I was actually going to grab a marshmallow skewer, but I got totally overwhelmed by all the choices. And I ended up going with a chocolate, almond, and banana pancake.
So anyway guys, I have to handle this and then I'm going to go to the hotel and rest until tomorrow.
Good morning! It's my second day in Belfast and I'm just getting started. So I am on the way to breakfast, but I wanted to stop and give you a look at Drawing Office Tomb. This is the legendary room where the Titanic was actually designed, and the history in here is just incredible. That massive ship I just showed you is a nearly 4-meter model of the Titanic, and it's just amazing to see it up close. I will give you a quick tour around the space and then we will head into the restaurant. They serve a mix of continental and a full Irish spread, and you can even get omelets or other specials made to order. As someone who has worked in the hotel industry, I would expect the buffet to offer more variety and choices. However, overall, the breakfast was not too bad. It's a very nice hotel. It's made like a museum, and you can get from the reception a map of the historical trail where you can the children are waving, the children behind me are waving. So anyway, the building is a historical building built in 1912, and in 2017 it was transformed into a luxurious hotel. It's very nicely decorated. It has art deco furniture with some nautical elements, and if you go
through the corridors, you'll see a lot of pictures and historical documents and artifacts. So it's definitely worth to visit. As a whole, I would rate my stay as a 7 or 8 out of 10. Okay, let's give it 8. It's a beautiful hotel. I had a cozy time here. The bed was not very comfortable, if I have to be honest, and I expected a little bit more from the breakfast for the price of 20 pounds. I booked the hotel on a Black Friday for 142 euros. So I suppose a standard room costs a little bit more. So altogether for the room and the breakfast I paid about 162 euros. And Belfast is quite expensive if you want to stay in hotels. Tonight I will be staying at the Travel Lodge, which is very close to the train station, and that's convenient for me because tomorrow I will fetch the train to Dublin, and also it has a central location that will allow me to explore the nearby attractions, maybe do a little bit of shopping and all that. So this is the back of the Titanic Hotel, the brick building. Historically, Ireland is divided in 2 parts. Dublin is the capital city of the Republic of Ireland, and Belfast is the capital city of Northern Ireland, which is UK. The people are more or less the same, really friendly people. The accent is a little bit different, and other than that, you can feel a very British vibe over here. I don't want to jump into the political reasons why Ireland is divided. Of course, I know the story, but I'm going to go on a hop on and off bus today, which will hopefully take us to some of the historical places. But I don't want to voice my opinion. I want to remain respectful about this, because it's still a very sensitive subject. It's not a problem anymore. There are no troubles, but in some parts of the city you can still feel the division. The second most popular tour after the Titanic is the Black Cab tour, and it's definitely a big thing to do here. It's great if you want to learn all about the history of the Troubles. It costs about £80, which is a good deal for a group, but it's a bit pricey if you are traveling alone. So I chose the hop-on, hop-off bus for £20 instead. To me, it was the better way to go. You still hear all the stories, but you also get to see way more of the city. We drove past St. George's Market. It's only open Friday to Sunday, so I couldn't visit. Then we passed some gorgeous buildings like the Queen's University, the Opera House, and other historical landmarks.
On the right, coming up, on the left is St. George's Market, a Victorian indoor market that has several thriving markets a week. Its most popular is the Sunday morning market, with all sorts of foods available, plus live music and market stalls. Its grounds are open to the public, and it is right next door to the Botanical Gardens. The gardens, which are highly recommended for a visit, feature a Victorian powerhouse, as well as the Ulster Museum and its collections of art. Stayed when they visited Belfast in 1995. On the right opposite the hotel is Belfast's most famous pub, the Crown Liquor Saloon, which is a very fine example of a Victorian gin palace. It is divided into private slugs and is featured in various TV shows and movies, including Odd Man Out and an episode of Cold Feet. It is very heavily decorated with tiles and stained glass windows, all produced by Italians. If you look along some of the streets on the right, you can see they have been completely sealed off, with no access to the other side at all. The large mill on the right acts as a peace line, and it has 2 entrances for the workers to use. one for the Catholic workers to use and another on the other side for Protestant workers.
As we turn the corner here, you will notice the atmosphere of the city starts to change. We are heading to the Peace Walls. The first of these was erected back in 1969 to separate the Protestant and Catholic communities during the civil unrest known as the Troubles. It's almost hard to believe, but what was once built purely to divide people has become a global landmark, a place where travelers from every corner of the world come to sign their names and leave behind messages of hope.
So this must be the St. Anne's Cathedral. I was looking for it for maybe 20 minutes and it was so funny because the navigation would send me first to the left, then would say turn around, go in the opposite direction, and I looked a bit like a headless chicken running around, and several people stopped me, which was quite nice. It made a very nice impression. They stopped me to ask me if I'm alright and if I need any help with directions. But anyway, I found it. So here it is. Let's see if they'll let me film inside. I'm not sure.
I'm going to end this vlog with one of the most interesting places in Belfast, at least for me. This is St. Anne's Cathedral, and after this we're going for a walk around Cathedral Quarter. They started building this cathedral in 1899 and it's actually named after St. Anne, who was the grandmother of Jesus. The most unique thing about it is definitely the Spire of Hope. Usually cathedrals have heavy stone towers, but Belfast is built on soft, muddy ground. A heavy tower would have actually made the building sink. So in 2007, they added this 40-meter stainless steel spire. It's super thin and looks like a needle reaching into the sky as a symbol of peace for the city. Everything here was designed with a purpose, starting with the floor. Those 32 triangles in the circle are made to mark the 32 counties of Ireland. It's a way of saying that this place belongs to everyone in Ireland and it's meant to bring people together. I got so lucky at the cathedral. This elderly gentleman came up to me and explained all the hidden symbols and meanings behind everything. I would have missed so much if he hadn't pointed them out.
The baptistry here, by the way, the plaque,
working on the scene.
Is this where they were baptizing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The black represents we're born in sin. The white, we are baptized and washed, the sins are washed away.
Yeah.
And the red around the floor here represents the blood of Jesus at the crucifixion.
Oh, everything is a symbol of something, yeah. Very beautiful.
On the ceiling, you can see the 4 main archangels. I couldn't understand everything the local gentleman was saying to me because of his thick Belfast accent, but I definitely caught that Gabriel is significant here. He's the angel of revelation and good news. I'm still obsessed with this spire. What's really neat is that you can see it from the inside the cathedral too. There is a special window on the ceiling that frames it perfectly. See that organ in the top left? It's actually the runner-up for the biggest in Ireland. The only one larger is the one in Ulster Hall. It looks majestic. And there is also piano.
The choirs that you hear practicing today, they're closer to this tonight. So they're down getting rehearsals. They weren't Belfast High School.
Okay.
Troubles here. This was a wreck. Basically, hey guys, catch yourselves up. We're a Christian conflict and we're Irish.
Yeah. I live in Dublin actually.
Oh, do you? Right.
Yeah. So I came for
there's
2
St.
days.
Patrick's down there.
Yeah.
And Trinity.
Yeah. I thought let me explore a little bit Belfast.
Yeah.
And this is also very nice.
This window here is the Good Samaritan.
And when do you usually have mass? Like every day?
We don't have mass. We have communion. The difference would be between the Catholic and ourselves would be they only take the wafer, the bread, representing the body. Here we take both bread and wine as the body and blood.
So what is the, it's not Catholic, what is it?
Is it Anglican?
Protestant.
Protestant, Anglican.
Anglican, okay. It's a Protestant. This is where the King and the Queen of England sit when they come to visit. So, as the old man explained to me, he's actually 82 years old and he's doing some voluntary work for the church. He does not pay, he doesn't get paid for it. And I offered to get him a drink or something to eat, but he said absolutely no, don't be silly. So this is like painting memorial to Titanic, and every small cross represents a lost life.
Therefore, with angels and archangels and with all the company of heaven, we proclaim your great and glorious name, forever praising, saying, Holy, holy, holy Lord, God of power and might, heaven and earth are full.
I'm glad I came to see this cathedral because it was very special, and the fact that I met this old man who came with me and explained to me the meaning of the spire.
Besides telling me about the spire, the old man said I had to go outside and see the big cross on the side of the building. He told me it's actually the largest carved Celtic cross in all of Ireland.
Oh, thank you. Gracias.
These are symbols of the city.
Very close to St. Anne's Cathedral is the Cathedral Quarter. I didn't realize at the time just how large this area actually is, and unfortunately I only had time to see the very beginning of it. There is still so much more to see within the quarter itself, plus other landmarks like the St. George's Market and Belfast Castle. If I'm in Ireland long enough, I will definitely try to come back to finish exploring this amazing city.
This looks chic.